afternoon, guys. Welcome back to Maverick Baking and welcome back to another food review. Today, we're talking about biscuits and I could not be any happier about it. We are talking about McVitie's Chocolate Digestives, but are we? We're talking about the brand new flavours they have released out of nowhere, including digestives with marmalade on toast vibes and digestives with strawberries and cream vibes. And, you know, no one really asked for these. No one maybe even wanted these, but now that I've seen them, there's nothing else I can really think about. So I'm very excited to try them. Before we do anything, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more reviews like this and other foodie content. Thank you. If you are not from the UK, or if for some reason you have been living under a rock and have not tasted McVitie's Chocolate Digestives, they are made by McVitie's and they are basically a kind of whole grain, nice, thick, crunchy but melty biscuit covered in usually milk chocolate. They are very similar to the graham or graham cracker as you have in America and Canada. I'm sure many other countries have similar kind of versions of these. So we've already had on the channel reviews of the digestive nibbles. We've had reviews of, I think, the coffee caramel digestives, but we're talking years ago. These are new and that is what we like to see. So I think I'm going to start with this marmalade on toast flavor. This confuses me. Marmalade is something I'm not hugely passionate about. I absolutely adore oranges as a whole fruit, as juice, as flavoring, as anything. But there's something about marmalade that I just can't really get on board with. There's something about that intense kind of bitterness first thing in the morning on a slice of toast that just does not make me feel my best self for the day, you know? But the thought of injecting that kind of bitter, sweet orange flavor into a biscuit, also with toast flavor, intrigues me. So I'm very excited to taste these. So let's get into them and see if they are worth your money. Do they smell orangey? Yes, they do. In fact, they smell a lot like Jaffa cakes, and I won't lie, there is actually a kind of toast flavor in there. Now, it is quite warm in here today. It is July, even in Scotland, believe it or not. So I'm going to kind of hold these like this so the chocolate doesn't go all over my fingers. But there is definitely a kind of orange juicy smell in there and a little bit of a kind of toasty smell, but that could just be from the biscuit. So let me just give you a close-up to see what these look like if you have never seen one before. We have a lovely kind of rippled but very thin milk chocolate layer on the top there, and underneath, I have no idea if that is the right way up or down or sideways or whatever ways, but that is what a digestive biscuit typically looks like. Very kind of old-fashioned but very delicious. Let's see if the marmalade on toast chocolate digestive is worth your money. Interesting. So I would say immediately, you have no real toast flavor, but they definitely have something. I don't know if they've added some kind of yeasty flavoring to the biscuit, but there is something quite bready about the flavor in a nice way, though I don't think you would immediately pinpoint that as toast if you didn't know that that was in here. As for the orange flavor, it's actually a very kind of nice, natural orange flavor. It's nothing too intense, it's nothing too hyper sweet. It does kind of overpower the milk chocolate in a way, I would say, but it definitely has a kind of orange zest flavor. It doesn't taste just like a Terry's chocolate orange. It doesn't taste just like Jaffa cakes. It's a nice, subtle, almost sophisticated orange flavor, if that doesn't sound too ridiculous. I don't know if I would say that it necessarily reminds me of marmalade, because the creaminess and the richness of the chocolate and the kind of lovely butteriness of the biscuit masks any potential bitterness that I think would come from actual marmalade. So if you're into orange flavor but you're not into marmalade, these might actually be for you. These with a cup of tea, mid-morning, oh, glorious. A typical sign in my books of a biscuit's quality is whether or not I would be deeply considering devouring the whole packet in one sitting. And this passes that test. So while I will say these are definitely not, you know, the most high quality, insane biscuits I've ever eaten, I might not necessarily recommend them to everyone, but I will say they do capture the essence of what you're buying them for quite well. You get that lovely orange flavor. There's some kind of toastiness to the biscuit without providing all of the kind of refreshing bitterness that actual marmalade has. They don't provide everything they promise though. So I'm going to give these chocolate digestives a 4 out of 5. Let us move on to the next flavor here. So we have strawberries and cream. in these digestives. Now this I am slightly more skeptical of. Typically strawberry flavouring can be very hit or miss. It can be quite natural, like those marshmallows we tasted in my Flumpin' Fudge review video recently, or it can taste very, very artificial and hyper sweet, like strawberry Nesquik, strawberry milkshakes, which sometimes you like, but in a biscuit with chocolate, meh, you know, meh. Anyway, let's get into these and see what is going on here. I'm gonna be very interested to see how they convey the flavour of cream. Typically that can be done in, you know, in white chocolate, in cakes or anything like that, but in something as kind of crunchy as a biscuit, getting a creaminess into it might be quite difficult. There is a definite strawberry milkshake smell as soon as you open that packet, and I don't know if I like it, you know. So the thing that bothers me about this is I like my food to look as it is going to taste, if that makes any sense. When I'm making cupcakes and they have any kind of flavour in them, I like to give a little hint of that flavour on top. If it's an orange flavoured cupcake, stick some orange zest on top, so that your brain is kind of ready to process and anticipate the correct flavour when you're about to eat it. Seeing a beige biscuit with a chocolate top and then getting it this close to your mouth before smelling strawberry, I'm kind of like, Chief, you know what? I don't know about that. You know, I don't know if these biscuits would maybe have benefited from having a little kind of orange marbling through the chocolate or a little pink marbling through the chocolate, or even having white chocolate on top. That might have prepared my eyes and my brain for this more than my nose has. But anyway, let's bite in and see if the strawberries and cream digestive is any good. The answer is no. Far too jarring, far too contrasting, borderline clashing. The biscuit in its kind of buttery wholemeal flavour and texture, and the milk chocolate in its rich creaminess is basically wrecked by an artificial strawberry flavour that has no place here. And there's no kind of texture that goes with it. The taste of synthetic strawberry with a buttery biscuit doesn't mix. It also doesn't mix with milk chocolate. I don't even think actual strawberries mix that well with chocolate, and that can be quite a controversial opinion. It just doesn't fit. Does it taste like strawberries? No. It tastes like strawberry flavouring, and there is absolutely no element of that, you know, cream thing. I don't feel like I'm at Wimbledon eating strawberries and cream, even though I've never been to Wimbledon eating strawberries and cream. There's nothing about this that is enjoyable unless for some reason you have some kind of borderline addiction to powdered strawberry milkshake flavouring, because that is literally all this will provide you. These just didn't need to exist, you know? Now, in saying that, it's definitely not the worst thing I've eaten. I have eaten some terrible and bizarre things in my life. Let's not talk about the guinea pig. But this doesn't do anything for me except make me not want to eat more of it. It tastes like a mistake. It tastes like this flavouring was supposed to go into a white chocolate biscuit or into some kind of jam-filled biscuit, and that they got mixed up on the production line. It just doesn't work. The textures clash, the flavours clash. It's just not good, especially when they've created something that is actually very natural tasting and very enjoyable, very subtle and not too sweet or synthetic tasting. In this, these are like a complete contrast. It doesn't even taste like the same biscuit in a bad way. I definitely would not recommend these, and I will be giving them a solid 1 out of 5. We're being that harsh today. If you guys have tasted these new digestive flavours, or if you have a burning passion for one in particular, let me know in the comments below. I would love to know if you have a favourite. Personally, I think the dark chocolate ones are very, very underrated. I think those with a cup of coffee is just sheer bliss. If you guys enjoyed today's video, don't forget to leave it a sneaky little thumbs up before you go. It would be much appreciated. But that is all I have time for this afternoon. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I will see you for the next one.